Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean. I want to make a quick video about Jarrell Miller. Now, Jarrell Miller is turning into a bit of a disappointment, really, for me. Now, I like Jarrell Miller. I've been a fan for a while. I think I rate him. I had quite high hopes for him. But I don't really like the way he's been going on recently. I don't like the things he's been saying. I don't like the moves he's been making. I just don't really like this sort of sense of entitlement that he has. He seems to be quite big for his boots. He's getting quite a lot of opportunities. At the same time, he's sort of, got this. He talks as if he's being hard done by, as if he sort of deserves just to sort of walk in this big title shot against Joshua. I mean, the Pulev fight, he turned down a final eliminator to be mandatory for the IBF, which if he really wanted the Joshua fight, that's what he should have done. Now, I can understand why he didn't take that fight, to be honest, because of the way it was set up financially. Now, for whatever reason, the IBF they would have given 75% of the money to Pulev, 25 to Miller to fight in Bulgaria. So he's not that attractive. Same reason Dillian Whyte turned it down. Obviously, Dillian Whyte had a much better option on the table. He had a fight against Joseph Parker, arguably at that point top 5. Definitely top 10 heavyweight, big name in the UK, fought on pay-per-view, made a couple of £1 million out of it. You know what I mean? So that's why he turned it down. Now, Jarrell Miller turned it down, and instead of fighting Pulev, he's fighting against a sort of 70-year-old light heavyweight. No disrespect to Thomas Adamek, but he's very small, very old, no one in their right mind can call this a sort of credible opponent for him at this stage. So he's turned down Pulev, easily top 10 heavyweight, sort of top half. Well, I don't know, a top 10 definitely heavyweight, decent, solid, been there for a while, very, very credible. Turned that down. Fair enough, the money wasn't great. He's getting paid more money to fight Adamek in America, but you can't have it both ways. Do you know what I mean? He turned that down, and now he's sort of talking about Anthony Joshua needs to fight me, and he's going to be sort of ducking me. Mate, no one is clamouring to see you fight against Anthony Joshua. Now, we want to I speak for myself, and I think I speak for most boxing fans here. I want to see Joshua fight Deontay Wilder before you. I want to see him fight Tyson Fury before you. I personally prefer to see him fight Pulev, Hughie Fury. There's loads of fights. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd watch the fight against Miller. I think it's actually quite a decent fight. But this idea that he's there Joshua, I don't need to do anything else. I don't need to fight Pulev. I don't need to fight Dillian Whyte. I just basically kind of mouth off about how Joshua needs to fight me. I don't understand why he's not pushing to fight Wilder either. Not trying to fight Dominic Breazeale, Luis Ortiz, Joseph Parker. No one. When he first came on the scene, Jarrell Miller, I liked him, and I thought that he's a good character, and I thought he had quite a good attitude. I mean, he was fighting people like Gerald Washington, Duhapar. Now, these are not great. When Wilder was fighting him after as a world champion, as voluntary defences, we weren't particularly impressed. As 35 fights in, but with Miller, when he was fighting him at 17, I was thinking, yeah, okay, so he's fighting sort of Wilder level opponents, but doing it a lot earlier on in his career. Albeit Wilder had already beaten him first, but still, he kind of looked like he'd sort of learned from the reputation that Wilder had got, with just sort of this padded record, and he was trying to fight credible opponents and make a name for himself and build up a bit of a profile. But he seems to have gone backwards on that. He seems to have the idea that he's now done enough, that he doesn't need to fight any of these top contenders, that he's just going to, Anthony Joshua needs to fight him, and that's the one that everybody wants to see. But it's not. You know what I mean? Dillian Whyte is Dominic Breazeale would be a great fight. He could try to fight Dominic Breazeale, get in there. If he gets that would be for the WBC mandatory. Then he would have a chance of fighting Deontay Wilder. He's already turned down the thing for Pulev. He could fight Dillian Whyte. I'm sure that would be made some eliminator for some, I think they were talking about for the WBA or something. But he doesn't want to fight Dillian Whyte either. He's saying, oh no, why do I want to do that? He just doesn't want to put any work in, and that's what I'm starting to see with him. Another thing as well, like the thing with there's a few sort of signs of basic bad character for me. Like the thing with Eddie Hearn, like obviously Eddie Hearn has got a lot of haters in America, so he seems to me just being basically like he just looks quite weak and quite sort of easily led and easily pressured. Like he turned down Pulev in Bulgaria, a tough fight for not as good money, and Eddie Hearn gave him the opportunity to fight against some, in a mismatch for more money in America, and his attitude is basically, oh, so Eddie Hearn somehow like taking the piss, like because, oh yeah, I'm not like making a point of saying I'm not signed to him, and just trying to sort of distance himself from Eddie Hearn, presumably to try and sort of, cater to a load of the sort of haters in America. Now, obviously, it's business, and it's not like we're all sort of friends here. But at the same time, if I was Eddie Hearn, I'd be thinking like, I've got all these people like just constantly trying to like throw dirt on my name, this smear campaign. I've got this person here, I've just given like a good payday, I've given him some quite good opportunities. He hasn't had to go to Bulgaria to put the work in and get in a tough fight because I've basically given him a better opportunity for more money, and he's just sort of constantly trying to sort of have a go at me and blame me and try and say that I'm doing this and I'm doing that and trying to, do you know what I mean, just sort of distance. To me it just seems a bit weak, and I just don't really like it, and I don't really see what he's trying to do. Like he just seems to, I don't know. He just seems to be thinking, right, I'm the sort of some big bad man at the top of the heavyweight division. You're not, mate. I mean, you basically fought a few, you fought a couple of like maybe like sort of top 25 heavyweights in your entire career, and you've turned down fights against credible opponents. You're openly saying that you don't want to fight against Dillian Whyte. You're showing no interest in fighting like the top people in the American scene, like Dominic Breazeale, Luis Ortiz, even Wilder. He's not trying to like really fight Wilder, is he? He's literally just asking. He's Anthony Joshua. He sees that as obviously like a big money fight. He's just going to sit there, mouth off, and think that, oh, I'm just going to get that payday because I'm American. If you listen to the way he talks, just deluded. You hear. I've heard it before, talking about, oh no, I'm not going to talk about him fighting in the UK when they first talked about Dillian Whyte. Even Anthony Joshua, he was sort of talking as if, like, oh no, but like the heavyweights, he's like in America. Like, what planet do you live on, mate? Do you know what I mean? You're not Mike Tyson, you're not Muhammad Ali, you're not even Deontay Wilder. Do you know what I mean? Deontay Wilder in the last, I don't know, the last sort of year, maybe a bit less, has grown a lot in popularity in America. Now, if the fight with Tyson Fury, that's going to be a big fight, and obviously the Luis Ortiz, that was a good fight. People wanted to see that, so that done a lot for Deontay Wilder's notoriety, his credibility. So if he now fights Fury in a big fight, he's gonna grow his name, and he's sort of making moves now. But the idea that Jarrell Miller, is sort of calling the shots just because he's like American. This is not the 80s, mate, or the 90s. Do you know what I mean? You're not in a position to be just sort of like, oh, I'm some big like American heavyweight. Everyone comes because this is where like the boxing. It doesn't. I mean, it may do again, but it's certainly not going to happen from you like fighting Thomas Adamek. Do you know what I mean? And turning down people like Pulev and Dillian Whyte. So. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. Really, obviously, I think a lot of people are getting quite fed up with the way he's going on. Now, I'd love to see him fight against. Don't get me wrong, I'd like to see him fight against Anthony Joshua, but there's not before Wilder fights Joshua. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like all the other top like people who are around at the moment. Obviously, Povetkin. I'd much rather see Povetkin fight Joshua than Miller. Wilder, I've already said. Fury. Joseph Parker and Dillian Whyte have already fought him. Pulev, I'd like to see him fight. Do you know what I mean? So Dominic Breazeale actually already fought him, hasn't he? So there are some, you know what I mean? There are a lot of good fights out there for Jarrell Miller as well. He just thinks he's just going to go in there and just fight against Joshua. No, I actually do think he's good, Miller. I do. rate him. I think he's obviously got a lot of shortcomings. He's a bit slow. He doesn't seem to. He's not like a big puncher, but he's relentless. He's massive. Do you know what I mean? And he's just constantly on you, pressure fight. I don't know how much he weighs, but he's an absolute unit. So him against, to be honest, him against the Czech, like Joshua, I think that's potentially a tough fight for Joshua. I do. Wilder, I like Miller against Wilder. I think that'd be a very interesting fight. Now, Wilder's obviously much quicker on his feet. He's a very powerful puncher. He's explosive. But Jarrell Miller, he's about twice the size of Wilder. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like weight. So when I made the video yesterday talking about Tyson Fury getting on top of it, I could see Miller potentially wearing Wilder down and really making that quite an interesting challenge for Wilder. Dominic Brazil, love to see him fight. Dylan White. These are all fights that I'll give him a good chance in. Do you know what I mean? So, I hope he can come to his senses. And because he wants to fight Manuel Charr, like for the sort of the WBA, whatever it is, like the sort of no one gives a fuck about like the WBA regular belt. I mean, you think that by winning that somehow that's going to make everyone, we need to see you against Joshua. Well, it's not going to work. Keith Thurman had the WBA, and when Mayweather had no, he wasn't then mandated to fight him, so it doesn't really do anything. Fighting Dylan White is going to do much more for your career than getting some, crap little joke belt against Manuel Charr. Do you know what I mean? So let me know what you lot think. I'm not turning my back on Miller just yet. I still like him. I still think he's a good character. I think he's a good fighter, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing from him recently. And just wanted to just say that really. So let me know what you lot think. Thank you very much for watching.